East basketball is sponsored by Jeep Grand Cherokee. Jeep, there's only one. From downtown Milwaukee, a Big East showdown between Marquette and Providence. A couple of teams looking to bounce up the standings. Around the floor, Stephen Bardo, Lisa Byington with you. We begin with David Duke in the Big East game. Stephen, first in scoring, first in assists.
According to his coach, the hardest working player he's ever coached. And you see the results on the floor. Dynamic, big guard that can score at all three levels. And he's got to be big tonight if Providence wants to get the win. Part
of what makes Providence so good, they got a 1-2 punch. It's Duke on the outside, Nate Watson on the inside.
I think Nate Watson needs the ball more. He's shooting 65% from the field. Big fella. Feed the big fella. He is efficient. He's aggressive. And I think he's a walking double-double waiting to happen.
Okay, so we've gone inside, we've gone outside. Who's that third scorer? A.J. Reeves might fill that bill.
Yeah, he definitely needs to step up and stroke the three with ease, but he's got the size to be versatile on the defensive end. They need a big game from him here on the road.
Post-Marcus Howard days for Marquette. The leading scorer this year is a freshman. They got a good one, Dawson Garcia.
Yeah, the game comes easy to him, Lisa, and he's still learning what's going on. He'll get stronger, but it's very fluid, and if you haven't seen him play, you're in for a treat tonight.
The redshirt senior, Kobe McEwen, his scoring has been down, Steve, in the last 3 games, but he is capable of putting up a 20-pointer.
Yeah, like he did at Xavier, and they need that. They need Kobe, the one that was at Xavier, shooting 50% from the field, not the one that struggled in the last 3 games.
The Ohio State transfer, DJ Carton. He's got to run the show against the Providence defense that will switch things up on him.
Yeah, and DJ Carton's got to take better care of the basketball. He's very athletic, can score the rock when he gets downhill, but he's got to be confident tonight against those changing defenses.
That's your table setter. We got the Friars and the Golden Eagles coming up next from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The tip to come. Beautiful aerial view of Fiserv Forum from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Stephen Bardo, Lisa Byington with you. And Stephen, the players to watch on the Providence side, he is a stat stuffer, and when he stuffs the stats, David Duke does it with big numbers.
Yes, he does. And outstanding talent in terms of hitting you on all different levels. Only one of 2 players to average 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. His fingerprints need to be all over this one tonight if Providence wants to get back on the winning side. And then for Marquette, you're talking about Kobe McEwen. Lisa, he struggled in the last 3 games, but he's a capable scorer, and he needs to return to that in order for Marquette to get this game tonight. Providence coming in very aggressive. It's going to be a very physical game. Kobe McEwen has the size and strength to compete at a high level at this one.
Kind of like the old Big East when you're talking about the physicality. Tonight's starting lineup sponsored by Jeep Grand Cherokee for Providence. Again, no Jared Bynum, struggling with that groin injury. So Allen Breed, the freshman, will be get his 2nd career start. And you got to watch that matchup in the middle. Theo John up against Nate Watson as well as maybe Kobe McEwen D'ing up David Duke. Lisa Byington, Stephen Bardo with you. I'm telling you what, David Duke and some of these players you're going to see here, some of the names, some of the faces, some of the premier players in the Big East this year.
I totally agree. And, you know, you talked about the matchup inside. Nate Mason and Theo John ought to be a lot of sparks coming out of the paint tonight.
Nate Nation, I like that. Coming strong out of the gates. Jump ball to Providence.
So a player that we had mentioned for Providence that could really step up tonight is Jimmy Nichols Jr. At 6'8", very versatile. Just got to be a little bit more aggressive on the offensive end.
Here he is with the ball in the corner. Yet Ed Cooley told us last night he feels like if he plays up to his potential, he could be an all-conference Big East player, and he takes the first shot.
Well, for Marquette, I'd like to see DJ Carton be a little bit more aggressive, looking for his shot as well. Type of athlete can go get his own looks.
There's a 3 look for Garcia, the freshman, making it look easy early.
I love Woj running the play for Garcia to start out the game. really good execution. Big man was wide open at the 3.
Stands at 6'11", a 5-star player. Boy, are they happy in Milwaukee that they got the Minnesota product. A lot of pressure on a freshman with that kind of expectations, and he has performed so far early this season.
Yeah, the game, I'm sure, is still kind of fast for him, Lisa. So when it slows down, watch out, Big East.
And Garcia coming up with the board. Marquette with the early advantage. Both of these teams really hungry for a win here tonight. Providence dropping a couple of heartbreaking losses in the last couple of games, and Marquette has lost 4 of its last 5. Turnaround won't fall that time for John.
And you want to stay, you don't want to be in the middle of the Big East pack. You kind of want to move up if you can, and both of these teams right in the middle right now.
Duke with the pull-up, tight rims tonight at Fiserv Forum. Providence has been on the road with Ed Cooley for about 4 days now. He told us, though, I liked what he told you, Stephen, in talking about losing back-to-back games really at the buzzer. He said, I am at the best when we lose because I know my guys need a little bit of loving after that.
Yeah, you know what? I want to come out of retirement and play for Ed Cooley. I'm telling you, if you can't be motivated by that man right there as coach, you don't want to play.
You know, I'm sure, I'm not sure. I know Ed Cooley gets paid really well at Providence to be the head coach, but if he wanted a side job, he could go entertain everyone in their Zoom calls and Zoom meetings and make a lot of money that way.
Lisa, I think he can make more doing what you suggested than even coaching. He is something else.
We talked to him for 25 minutes, a foul committed there on the freshman Breed. We talked to Ed Cooley for about 25 minutes last night from his hotel room downtown Milwaukee, and I could have listened for the rest of the night.
Oh, you and me both. And I get a little nervous, Lisa, because I don't want to take a lot of these coaches' time because they're so busy, but he was quite at home and very forthcoming with information to us, which we really appreciate.
And he looks great. He's dropped 52 pounds, he told us, and today was day 298 of him working out. 298 straight days. Good for him.
Oh, I mean, anybody else with any excuse, throw it out the window there. Nice job by Mason, taking what the defense gives him. Nice hard hedge that time by Mason.
Here's Garcia, who has the first 3 points. He's got all 5 points now for Marquette.
Very smooth. Garcia did a jab step, went to his right hand, took the hit, and still finished at the rim at 6'11", ladies and gentlemen.
Good defense there for Marquette. Yeah, this is a Golden Eagle team that looks a lot different than it did the last 4 years in the Marcus Howard era. They feed again the freshman, and he's got 7 points.
Nice high-low action that time by the 2 bigs. Dawson. I want to call him Garson. Dawson received a high-low from Theo John. Nice 2-man action.
That could be his new nickname. You already came up with Nate Nation here today. Wojo is his nickname. Steve Wojciechowski in year number 7 as the Marquette head coach, looking for some consistency. This Marquette team is hard to figure out this year. They beat top 25 opponents in Wisconsin and Creighton, but then, like I said, they've lost 4 of the last 5 games.
Yeah, I think this team is still really trying to figure out their identity, and I know their fan base might not want to hear that, but there's no pre-conference slate. Everything was jammed up because of COVID, and so you aren't able to develop the consistency and chemistry that you would in a normal season.
It's interesting talking to each program, different coaches, as the games that we have and how each program is dealing with the COVID situation. Pursuing the basketball, Justin Lewis, the other freshman for the Golden Eagles.
And that's big for the Golden Eagles because when Justin Lewis plays well, Marquette's a different team. Ask Creighton in Wisconsin.
I mentioned those 2 wins. He played well against Creighton, almost had a double-double, and against Wisconsin put up 18 points, including the tip-in on the game-winning buzzer beater against the Badgers. Here's Reeves for 3. Oh, his numbers have been up in conference play back there.
That was a big shot for Providence. They needed that one to go down big time. It looks like Ed Cooley's too happy with his team's defensive performance thus far.
That's something that Providence in the past has been known for. And we got a foul. DJ Carton committing his first. I think maybe defense might be the conversation in that Providence huddle. After our first media timeout, it's a 9-5 advantage. Marquette over Providence. Stephen Bardo, Lisa Byington with you. Nate Watson, he's the man in the middle for Providence. And you see this season his Big East ranks. Actually, he's so impactful. Ed Cooley said he want him to get like about 16 to 18 shots in a game. Well, that's going to be hard to do because in the last minute or so of this game, watch Watson. He goes down on this rebounding attempt.
Oh, man. And he came right down on his left ankle. And with that 260-pound frame coming right down on that, they want to make sure that he's okay. Hopefully, he'll be okay to return. But that is, those can be serious when you land on someone's foot like that.
Yeah, his left foot, you saw it twist. That's Ed Croswell. He's a junior transfer from LaSalle University. So he'll take the spot here of Nate Watson. Normally the backup center here for Providence. He might have to play some added minutes here tonight, depending on Watson's status. And, oh, gosh, Croswell going down hard that time, too. You said there could be some physicality. We've seen some bodies getting tangled here early.
Providence is as physical of a Big East team as you're going to find. And that last sequence right there, they get into what's called a flex offense, but they run it tight, Lisa. They try to keep everybody in the paint to just be physical and score in the paint.
Duke trying to score in the paint that time. Offensive rebound and putback. He's got it. Ed Croswell from off the bench immediately making an impact.
And when you're trying to steal games on the road in conference play, you need others to step up. Croswell does a good job. I thought that was enough contact to get Duke on the line right there. But Croswell in really good position to clean it up.
It'll be the first on Theo John. Only time Ed Croswell Jr. was in double figures was the opener against Fairfield. Put up 10 points, 6 rebounds, and 15 minutes of play. Mentioned he's a transfer, but when you're playing behind a guy like a Nate Watson, it's hard to get that playing time with the kind of year that Watson's having.
No, there's no doubt about it. And, you know, you want to keep Watson on the floor as much as possible because we talked about how efficient he is, and he's such a good rebounder as well.
Quick hands that time for Providence. 14 seconds now on the shot clock. Pull up for Lewis. And it's off the foot of David Duke.
You know, sometimes that happens. The ball just doesn't bounce your way. If you're Providence, you just want to recalibrate here on this possession. Try to stay strong defensively. Only 20 seconds on the inbound.
And the shot clock reset to the 20. Steve Wojciechowski and Marquette, actually, because of COVID, had about 8 or 9 days to prepare for this game. With game postponements, had to focus on themselves, and then the last couple of days have focused on their prep here for Providence. Carton can't get that one to fall.
Well, you got a glimpse of how quick and fast DJ Carton is when he gets going downhill. Didn't get to finish. I like him putting pressure on the Friars defense.
The range that time from David Duke. He had a few of those deep threes in the last game against Xavier.
I mean, and he made it look easy, Lisa. And anytime you got a 6'5" guard that can knock down a three off the bounce, it makes him very difficult to defend.
Part of an 8-0 run here. Providence has now taken the lead off of that shot. Carton again is short. Here's Reeves there on the push. I'll tell you what, Croswell is earning some minutes.
Yes, he is. You know, and it's all set up by effort, Lisa. On the miss right there, Croswell comes up with the offensive rebound. He's going to lose his balance. Nice job of throwing it off of Theo John's leg to retain possession.
3 rebounds for Croswell in just 2 minutes of playing time.
Oh, wow. Gant coming into the ball game had his mask on, so he's being safe.
Well, he threw it off to the side too. Decided not to play with it. We have seen some men's teams play with masks on. Has been done this year, though it's not very common to see that. Here's Garcia with the first 7 points here to get Marquette going. They've gone a little bit cold in the last few minutes.
Nice job by Noah defensively, forcing that miss.
Wraparound pass from Duke. It was a beauty, but not good finish. Here's Elliott on the run-outs.
Nice job by Greg Elliott, using that long stride of his to get past 2 Friars defenders.
Greg Elliott's best game so far in his Marquette career came against Creighton back on December 14th, put up a career-high 14 points off the bench. He's been dealing with injuries really his whole career in Milwaukee. Dunk down pass, don't know what to do with it.
Might have been a little surprised he was so open. Once again, Providence running that patented tight flex offense. Got the shot they wanted, just didn't convert.
Symir Torrance taking that shot for Marquette. So the Golden Eagles go into their bench here, approaching the midway point of the first half. McEwen is going to have his work cut out for him trying to D up that man David Duke tonight.
Oh wow, and they're talking, Lisa. Duke and McEwen exchanging pleasantries.
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, you know, it's
pleasantries?
It's all love. Tell each other Happy New Year. You know how it goes.
Garcia with Workler defending him. McEwen will take the triple try. Oh, and then he stared down David Duke after that make.
Yeah, see, that's T-Dot in the house right there, Toronto's finest. And when he shoots the ball like that with range, Lisa, it opens up his game.
Let's just have him go one-on-one. Duke and McEwen.
Good D by Theo John to deny Croswell that post feed.
Duke is looking for it again. He's got Garcia on him, closed out really well. Good defense there from Dawson Garcia.
Well, I thought if Garcia would have kept running, may have gotten a layup.
We got a foul there on the floor on Providence.
Well, we highlighted these 2 players, Lisa, first. David Duke, that's Fred Astaire like on the footwork, and then coming back, Toronto, Ontario, make it rain, baby. I see
you. Millions of kids nationwide are without their normal access to sports and play due to COVID-19. That's why Fox Sports and Good Sports are restoring play for kids in the programs that serve them through donations of brand new sports equipment. Text PLAY to the number on your screen to help keep kids in the game. And a great move here for Fox Sports, teaming up with that. And like I said, I mean, this is just unprecedented times. It's so interesting to talk to both head coaches about it and how they're dealing with it. You know, I thought Steve Wojciechowski said something really telling today. He said every day, you know, we have to test, and every day you wonder if this is the day that you're going to test positive.
Now think about that, ladies and gentlemen. If you're going throughout your day and your work or whatever you do, and every single day you come in not knowing whether you're going to test positive or not, and your whole program has to shut down.
McEwen out of that timeout, picking up where he left off after that game break.
This is why we chose to highlight Kobe. And we could have highlighted some different players, Lisa, but McEwen, if he gets going, an upperclassman, a guard, it settles everyone else down on the Golden Eagles, allows them to play in their role and not press.
Yeah, some of the big players are freshmen here on Marquette's team, but the leaders have to be the seniors, and there's Reeves hitting his second three-point match.
Well, Coach Cooley said he was going to have a one-on-one with Reeves after he finished talking with us. I think it worked out well for him.
Yeah, but he said that was going to be a defensive talk.
Well, you know, guys like Reeves, if they get the jumpers going, then the D kicks in.
True. Well, he's 2 for 2 from back there to match Duke's 2 for 2, as well as McEwen's 2 for 2. McEwen thought about trying to go 3 for 3. Reeves defending him. McEwen, how about it? Oh, he almost got that one to drop.
And I thought that was a good no call by the officials. Kewen looking for a little contact. Didn't receive it. Fell down, but nice job by the officials.
And we got a push off from Justin Lewis. That's his first. And we've got Chris Monroe checking in for the first time.
So Coach Cooley going deep into his bench, trying to find some combinations here early in the first half.
Spin move that time for Croswell. Marquette read it, but Wojo wanted a call. Back out to Duke from up top. That's his first miss from back there. Oh, goodness. Gant running right into the scorer's table.
Tell you what, Providence is bringing some energy, though. Their reserves have come into this game. See Watson on the sideline, but Ed Cooley's group locked and ready here this evening, bringing the effort and energy.
Well, they've been on the road for 4 days. Traveled to Cincinnati to play Xavier on Saturday. They just stayed on the road from Cincinnati to Milwaukee. They'll probably get back to Providence around 3:30 in the morning, technically on Wednesday, as Horkler commits the foul from behind.
That's nice. Once again, inside-out action early on for Marquette has been impressive. And Garcia has been the recipient of many of those passes, so Marquette getting really good balance offensively early.
7 points in 10 minutes. The first 7 points, or the first 7 of 9 points that Marquette has scored here tonight. And his first free throw attempts of the evening. I mentioned the length that Providence has been on the road because Ed Cooley told us last night if he doesn't see this energy from his team, he might make them swim back to Providence, Rhode Island.
You know what? Lisa, you know this as a former player yourself. Road trips are wonderful chemistry builders for teams. So even though you're away from home and you're doing different things, you have to be together much more as a group when you're on the road. And some teams benefit from that.
A leak out this time. It's Kane. Couldn't finish the job. But the putback is good for Garcia.
Nice job by Marquette on the run out that time. That was a really, really good outlet pass by Justin Lewis to find Kane streaking for that layup attempt.
We've seen Kane do it there. We saw Elliott do it a few plays before. So clearly that's something Marquette has seen scouting Providence. I think they can get that once or twice. Garcia checks his feet. And here is Lewis. Second opportunity for Marquette.
Not a bad look. Secure the offensive rebound. You get that close. Big fella going up with it.
7.5 to play here in this first half. It's been tight the whole way through. Oh, hard fought. Physicality. Monroe going down hard. Good old Big East battle from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Dawson Garcia, the only player so far on this floor that's at double figures already. About half of Marquette's points here tonight, Stephen Bardo.
Yeah, that's really the one of few outside shots he's taken. He's done most of his damage here in the paint area. That time a really nice move, and then he and Theo John hooked up a couple times on some nice high-low action. So Garcia, very efficient here to start this game.
You see the kind of impact that he's made in year number 1. He leads all Big East freshmen in terms of scoring and rebounding. There's a reason why the Big East picked him as the preseason freshman of the year. Didn't disappoint either in the opener. Put up 19 points going all the way back to November 25th. But as we address, he's a 5-star guy out of Minnesota. He turned down schools like Indiana, Minnesota, Memphis. Stan Johnson, one of the last great things he did before he left to become a head coach over in California was bring Dawson Garcia to Milwaukee.
Yeah, Stan doing a good job out at Loyola Marymount. They got a big win against San Francisco in their last game. So good things are happening out in LMU.
Well, we saw them up against Minnesota early this year, and we were impressed at the head coaching job that he has done. Finger roll finish that time for McEwen. He's got that scorer's look in his eye tonight.
He does, Lisa, and a lot of times what happens is if you've got a guard the caliber of David Duke that you're assigned to guard, you pick your game up naturally.
Watson has checked back in, gets a post touch. And again, his head coach would like him to shoot about 16 to 18 times when healthy. He kicks it out that time.
That's really solid defense. Like Elliott, he just sat in Watson's lap until he had forced him to pass the ball back out.
Theo John taking it strong to the rim.
Wow. Theo John got hit about 3 times. It didn't matter. Able to finish at the rim.
Marquette on a 14-3 run to stretch this lead out to +9. Theo John's first points. You won't forget it. He didn't hesitate on this.
Oh, no, he didn't hesitate. And then good pass there. Lewis returns the favor at 1-2-3. Slaps on the wrist. Didn't matter. Theo John being strong at the rim.
One of my favorite player notes has to do with Theo John. They say his teammates say that he eats weights. And you look at him and you don't need any other explanation. Look at him. Skying through, one of the best shot blockers in Marquette history. Eating the block and the shot on that play.
Now Marquette's starting to match that energy and effort. They've been shooting the ball better than Providence, but now they're starting to get all the loose ball.
Oh, he's calling for it too. He feels it a little bit up against Watson.
Yeah, Nate Watson in purgatory there on the defensive side. I mean, he had him all the way under the bucket. I gotta upgrade my language, man. I'm saying some old school terms here. I gotta keep in mind we got some young viewers as well.
You gotta keep them working on the Google, right? When they watch your game.
Right, that's right.
I think you're fine. McEwen. Hesitation. Well, Theo John picking it up offensively and defensively the last couple of possessions here in Marquette. I mentioned that he is one of the best shot blockers in Marquette history. He's got a chance even here tonight to move up the school ranks.
Look at the timing on this and the hang time. Big fella. Yeah, you can fly with Theo John. He's even battling a knee injury, and you can see him grimacing a little bit, but he's not going to ask out of the game.
Yeah, that knee injury happened in his left knee in that Oklahoma State game, and this athletic training staff had to manage it a little bit. He tweaked it again in the Georgetown game, but it's going to take a lot more than that to get Theo John to come out of this game and this season. If he gets down on the floor and causes the jump ball that time.
It's a great job getting on the floor. Versus Jimmy Nichols. Thought he might have been able to get it to a teammate, Lisa, but I think he was just trying to maintain possession. Yeah, he did right. When you see Theo John coming, you just cover up.
Big old warning sign.
Yeah. Look like a couple of those Alabama offensive linemen from last night.
Goodness gracious, did they look good. If there was any doubt what was the best college football team in the country, there's no doubt after last night.
There's no question, Lisa. That's a good job of Watson getting Theo up the lane a little bit so he can't put it on the deck and get to his spot.
DJ Carton, his first points from D.
And that's when I think the Golden Eagles are at their best. When Kobe McEwen is looking for his shot, Garcia is letting the game come to him, and Theo John is getting significant touches in the post.
Here is Kane with the rip away. They'll take it himself, a little Euro move, and he draws the foul.
Good job by Theo John. He just waits, puts a bullet right in the shooting pocket for DJ Carton. It's really nice inside-out action.
DJ Carton, the transfer for Ohio State. Wojo says he's got to pick it up a notch. And you've got DJ Carton, you've got Justin Lewis, you've got Dawson Garcia, three first-year players that are so key for Marquette. And then you got players like Jamal Cain. They're just trying to mesh like seniors like Jamal Cain with some of those first-year players. And Steve Wojciechowski has said that's kind of the reason for our inconsistency here so far, is just trying to mesh this group with different experience levels here this year.
Any program in the Big East or anywhere in the country for that matter, if you're playing multiple freshmen in important roles, you're going to have times where it's up and down. I don't think anyone is immune to that.
Balanced scoring is what we see this year for Marquette. You see the 4 players in double figures. Really, they've, you add in, they've had about 6 players who average between the 8-point range and the 13-point range. Much different story than the Marcus Howard years the last 4 years.
It is, and I think in the long run, Lisa, they'll be fine. They'll be good with this setup in terms of sharing the rock between multiple guys. I think right now they're still trying to figure out where the ball needs to go in critical situations. To me, is Kobe McEwen, but DJ Carton may mature into that role as the season progresses.
It's a great story with Carton. He was dealing with mental health issues at Ohio State and decided to take a break. His last game was last year in late January. He's an Iowa native. Actually went to basketball camp at Marquette. And Steve Wojciechowski, as he became a 4- or 5-star recruit out of high school, Steve Wojciechowski never burned that bridge with DJ Carton. So when he was looking to play at a school again, they connected as well. And so that's a lesson for all the head coaches out there. You might lose that star recruit, and it might burn you, and you might hate it. But be nice and show some grace.
Oh, that's right.
Because it might come back to help you.
That's exactly right.
Under 4 minutes to play. Carton and the Golden Eagles with a big advantage over Providence. Coming up on the Jeep Grand Cherokee halftime report, Mike Hill takes a look back at the life of legendary Georgetown coach John Thompson. Plus, Stephen and I will recap the first half from here in Milwaukee. He doesn't have the towel over his shoulder right now in that timeout, but Ed Cooley has been wearing the towel over his shoulder for the late, great John Thompson.
Yeah, Lisa, I think you've heard me say this before, but a lot of African-American players my age wanted to play for John Thompson at Georgetown. That was the team that you wanted to play for. So when you see these African-American coaches with the towel showing reverence and respect for John Thompson, it goes deep. And I'm glad to see all these coaches pay homage and pay tribute to John Thompson.
Well said. Marquette 32, Providence 18. Oh, someone forgot about Justin Lewis, who finishes with the flush.
So Providence tried to change defenses that time. DJ Carton got the ball out of a double team, then it was off to the races. Nice job by the Golden Eagles. This is that tight flex offense that Providence likes to run. But Marquette's defense has been so good in this possession, it's forced them out of where they want to operate.
Working around to Nichols from 3. His first point held up that follow-through a little bit, too.
Yeah, he's reaching into that cookie jar. He needs to do more of that because Providence struggling. David Duke not having the start to this one like he did in last game.
What a start, though, for Dawson Garcia. Now 13 points. He's only missed 2 shots.
Tell you what, the Golden Eagles, they took advantage of that extended time they had. They are really sharp here to start this game.
Yeah, they look good. 15-point advantage, largest lead of the game here so far.
They've done a great job on David Duke. He's only 2 of 8 from the field.
And Watson with the cleanup job. Yeah, it seemed like David Duke, though, the way he started, was going to have... He was 2 for 2 from 3.
Yep.
And then he's missed his last few shots. It seemed like he was going to have a big night. Still could. McEwen's looking for a big night. And Kane wrestles it away.
Great job by Kane that time using his length.
Garcia again. I love to see his game, though, that we've seen him work down in the post. We've seen him hit a three, and now he's working on that 15, 17-foot jumper.
He can do it, too. I mean, he didn't hit that last one, but you saw the Friars defender fly at him because they know that he's capable of knocking those mid-range jumpers down.
And Watson will take a seat.
Watson is far from 100% with that turned ankle. He's just not moving as fluidly as we have grown accustomed to seeing.
Yeah, he twisted his left ankle really in the first 5 minutes. They had to take him back to the locker room to get tended to. He's now returned, but I'm with you, Steve. He just looks like a different player since his return. 7 to shoot now. Quick hands there from Carton. And Marquette again off and running. Carton, the Euro, gives it up to Payne with the finish.
Man, Carton had a Euro that could have been Euro, that could have been South America, that could have been Africa. He went through 3 continents on that step through.
And for the assist, usually the Euro leads to the bucket for yourself, right? That's one of the first times I've seen it lead to the assist.
Yeah, that was really well done.
Well, Providence is struggling. Which continent is this? You pick.
Tell you what, great steal, head up. Whoop, whoop. Oh, man. What body control. See you, DJ. Might as well call you waiter or something. He served up Kane beautifully at the rim.
A couple of assists so far here for Carton.
But look at Woj. He's down there playing, slapping the floor.
What he's known for from his Duke days. From the corner, a tough shot. Are you kidding me? How did he get that one off? Jimmy Nichols. That's like a horse shot.
No doubt. Under duress, and he had a couple Golden Eagles in his face. Big break there for the Friars.
He had a couple of Golden Eagles in his face. He was staring at the side of the backboard. He called HORSE on this play. Look at that. Well, Providence Friar huddle trying to pick up some steam, trying to pick up some momentum here in the final minute of this first half. Trailing by 12 points, but it has been a hard start to the 2021 year for Ed Cooley and Providence. January 2nd against Creighton, they allowed the dunk with under a second to go. And then just this past Sunday against Xavier, allowed a three-pointer with a tenth of a second left.
And that Sunday game against Xavier was so disappointing for Providence. 7-point lead inside of a minute. And they lose on a last-second three. That's a heartbreaker. The one against Creighton was a heartbreaker as well, but that one really stung.
And so trying to rebound off those 2 heartbreaking losses, staying on the road here. Again, they've been on the road for about 4 days, trying to pick one up in Milwaukee before they head back home.
And right now, I think David Duke needs to take this shot regardless. I know Providence probably has a set play called, but...
How about that? Backdoor look. Reeves with the and 1. Carton got him.
The whole Marquette bench, Lisa, knew the play. They were screaming it out. And the Golden Eagles on the court lacked defensive communication that allowed Reeves to sneak back there off of a back screen. Look at the back screen. See what happened. You got Dawson Garcia. He's supposed to be talking. The freshman got caught up there.
Great shot by our camera crew. If you're looking at that bench, you just saw Steve Wojciechowski. He's going to have to switch out his sweatshirt here for the second half. He's working so hard here on the sideline.
He's getting it in, man. You know, a lot of coaches, they'll get on the treadmill or something to work out. Steve just works out during the game.
I need to hand him my my Fitbit or my iWatch so I can get the steps in.
I need to hand him my body so I can get the work in.
Alley-oop to no one. It was Kane misreading it with Justin Lewis that time.
Okay, this is how critical last possessions of a half are. The Golden Eagles were up 12 points, Lisa, before that last exchange. Now, if Providence can come down and score and get with 7 or 6 points, that's a big victory for the Friars in the first half.
You know, 6-0 Providence run here to close the half. Final few seconds. This is who you want to have the ball in, but they double teamed you. Getting it out to Reeves, who hangs. Couldn't get it to fall. He got a good look at it.
He did, and Providence ought to feel very good about themselves. 6 turnovers in the first half, 4 missed layups, and yet they're right in this game.
Score in Milwaukee, 38-29 after the break. We'll send it to our FS1 studios in Los Angeles for the Jeep Grand Cherokee halftime report with Mike Hill. About ready here to start the second half between Marquette and Providence. Two teams really need a Big East win here. You see the 2-point field goals here for Providence. 4 of 18 shooting. Steven, you mentioned this. They missed 7 layups in the first half. You noticed that right out of the gate.
Yeah, they had some good opportunity. They just weren't able to finish. Now, I know there's contact on both ends, but this is Big East basketball. If you get it in the paint, you got to go strong.
Off to McEwen. Oh, what a beautiful hesitation and finish with the left hand.
Oh, man. You called it. Allen Breed. I'm not sure if he's seen that before. Freshman point guard for Providence is just frozen. That nice move.
I had this conversation with former Purdue great Robbie Hummel. The hesitation move for a player, I think sometimes is a lost art.
I would agree.
Everyone thinks you got to do the crossover, you got to go at 1 speed. McEwen got free with the hesitation here.
1, 2, oh my goodness. Hezzy, off glass. Kobe McEwen really feeling good about his rhythm here tonight.
10 points for McEwen. Nate Watson only played 11 minutes in that first half. Just joining us, he twisted his left ankle within the first 5 minutes of this game. Had to go back to the locker room to get tended to. Doesn't look like the same player yet. You can see him hobbling on the back pedal.
And he's trying to get that thing loosened up, and Marquette does a good job against that 3/4 court pressure. Providence pulled that out a couple times in the first half, and Marquette got layups on the other end.
Carton from distance. Offensive rebound that time from Garcia. And the kick out in his face was that freshman Breed.
Wow, I just saw Ed Cooley jump 2 feet off the ground, trying to demonstrate to his team how to rebound the basketball. I think that weight loss helped his vertical. Look at the far. Oh. Go ahead, Ed. I see you, babies. That vertical's increased.
That's what happens when you drop 52 pounds.
That's right.
And on day number 298 straight of working out, as Ed Cooley told us that he is. There's Watson at mid-range falling.
And see, if Nate Watson can start to get into this game and catch some flow, it might even out what the Friars are trying to do. They were able to attack from long range, but struggled at the rim.
Nate Watson isn't just your back-to-the-basket kind of player here this year. As you can see, he can hit that mid-range. John with the offensive board.
That's a good call.
Yeah, we got a push there on Nichols on the baseline.
No, I like that call. Theo John is too big and strong to fall off balance himself. Just you referenced it earlier, Lisa. His teammate said he eats weight.
Yes, he does for pregame. I love this matchup, though. Don't you? John up against Watson.
I do, because there was no double team. John got to his spot, just did not convert.
Back the other way. It's Watson's turn this time. Trying to shake him off and draws the foul. And so now John is kind of accumulating a few personal fouls here. That's number 3 now on Theo John. He only had 1 after the first half.
And Lisa, that's been an issue for him throughout his career here at Marquette. Since it, if he gets 1, he picks up another one very quickly. So he's got to be careful in this next few minutes.
It's interesting you say that. It's sometimes the psychology of a player that, and coaches know it too, right? You pick up the foul and it's almost guaranteed. If you can get past that first minute without fouling again, you're good.
I agree, and you see now why Theo John is going to the bench. Woj knows how important he is to stopping Nate Watson. They're going to need him down the stretch.
Watson with all 6 points this half here for Providence.
Marquette's doing a good job of breaking pressure. Only thing I don't like is Carton getting in the air with nowhere to go.
Well, he only walked with it there. Duke finding Reeves. That's in rhythm. He's so good at those rhythm shots on the transition.
I like that shot. You called it, Lisa. He was right in rhythm. Duke trying to advance for Providence to get an easy one.
Lewis from the free throw line.
Well, I like Justin Lewis, and we've seen him be stellar this year. Creighton and Wisconsin, but he's struggled to find the consistency since.
One of those Baltimore players, too. Actually, the first Baltimore player. Steve Wojciechowski is from the Baltimore area, and it's hard to believe that Justin Lewis is his first Baltimore kid. He even said today, he's like, yeah, that's my recruiting area, too. Just haven't nailed, but we got the right kid, he feels like, coming to Milwaukee.
No, Lisa, I like how you were giving it to him a little bit.
Was I giving it to him?
Oh, you gave it to him a little bit. It was good, though. He took it in well.
He did. And then he slapped the floor after he left the Zoom call. No, I'm kidding. Into the corner from McEwen, who, by the way, has picked up his second personal for Marquette. Duke slipped with it. He slips.
Wow.
He's okay. That did not look fun.
Well, and the fact that he slid into Nate Watson's left ankle, which Watson hurt earlier in the game. Let's take a look.
I mean, you almost took out your 2 best players from Providence in one play.
Boy, thank goodness. Both of them getting up without incident. Yeah, that was a little scary.
Friars are like staring their season right on that play. That's the Batman and Robin. That's what Ed Cooley called those 2. So talented. 2 of the top scorers in the Big East between Nate Watson and David Duke.
And when a coach says that if Nate Watson were to marry his daughter, he would be a happy man, that says a lot about that young man's character right there. Because I know my dad, he's not going to let anybody just date his daughter. So I'm sure Ed Cooley is much the same.
And Olivia, his daughter, is a prized possession, that's for sure, for Ed Cooley.
Now that Providence has a very interesting matchup zone. It morphs depending on where the ball is on the floor.
Well, defense is what Providence focused on the whole practice on Monday. Trying to focus on that gap support. And if you follow Providence basketball, you know Ed Cooley will mix it up. Mix up the looks a little bit here throughout the game.
Yes. And against talented players like Marquette has, you got to give them different looks.
They created the turnover there defensively, off and running. Duke is having some trouble there in the transition, keeping his footing.
Oh, boy. DJ Carton comes up. Oh, I hope that's a cramp. Oh, I hope he can shake that off. And I didn't see him turn it. But our camera crew's going to get it.
That looks like a cramp.
Yeah, almost like he extended his calf and then it started right there. Nice job, our camera crew.
right on the baseline. Will keep it here. Carton's in pain, though.
You know, when you're moving like that, you're trying to get relief. I think that's a cramp. My Uncle Paul used to give us grapefruit juice sprinkled with salt. Go right to the veins and take it out. Oh, take it out every time, Lisa.
That worked?
Oh, every time.
Who knew? Duke with the Euro. That time high off the glass. Beautiful move by David Duke.
Now, that was only one continent. That was a traditional Euro step as opposed to Carton going with the three-continent step.
And all our geography has actually happened on that end of the basket, too. All the Euro moves are happening over there. Marquette swinging it around that time. Good ball movement, and Jamal Kane finishing it off for three.
Exactly, Lisa. That was a passing clinic, resulting in an open look. Duke just looks a little off to me tonight. He's not as aggressive. He seems a step slow. You're going to have 3 or 4 of those games in a season. See if he made up for it right there.
He hurts you. He hurts you.
Big, strong body, gets his shoulder on the side of McEwen, and then jumps between 2 defenders off glass. He made that look easy.
Remember, he hit his first 2 3-point attempts to start this game. Off the fingertips there of Lewis, but off of Providence last.
Well, David Duke doesn't quite look like the David Duke until this play. He jumps around the defense off glass. David Duke, one of the best in the Big East. Welcome back to Fiserv Forum, and we've got a typical Big East battle. Justin Lewis, Jimmy Nichols on the post. Now watch Lewis right there. Kind of hook and pull Nichols down. Now, I don't think that was malicious, Lisa. I think it's more gamesmanship than anything. And you see Nate Watson and Lewis there kind of match up. And what I think, Watson was trying to go help up Nichols. Lewis was not trying to move. It's a little gamesmanship, that's all. Big East basketball. Teams playing physical, starting to get on each other's nerves. No big deal.
Brady Tilly, Roger Ayers, and Brent Hampton there, too. I mean, what you saw is all that it amounted to as well. The officials, if there was going to be anything that was escalating, the officials did a good job to get all the players back to their respective benches.
And listen, these officials understand that both of these teams, are, as you talked about at the top of the broadcast, desperate for a win, want to move out of the middle pack of the Big East and get into the upper echelon.
So St. John's and Butler's, both of those teams needed a win too. St. John's beating Butler by 12 in our first game. All these teams chasing Villanova and Creighton. And these two teams will face off again in about 15 days or so. And you got to make the most out of the games you get, because you don't know sometimes when the next game's going to come.
That's right. Good job by Jimmy Nichols denying Lewis the basketball there.
Here's Elliott. And hands it off to Kane.
Really good defensive sequence by the Friars that time.
Watson with the spectrum move. He's looking a little bit more like Nate Watson.
Yeah, you know what, Lisa, that round ball has some medicine in it. And anytime you touch it and ball goes through the net, whatever's ailing you feels a lot better.
That orange pill can make you feel good.
That's right.
Pull up from McEwen, mid-range.
Watson was calling for it. I like big fella wanting to rock like that.
Here's Duke. Quick hands that time from Duke.
has picked it up defensively.
Oh, taking it to the rack. McEwen.
You know why that play was so good, Lisa? McEwen recognized that the Friars was pressing up defensively, that he'd be able to get to the rim.
The spin move there from Watson with the answer. And there's some jawing back and forth. Starting to get interesting. Largest lead was 16. That's not the case now. 12.5 to play. We got a game again, 49-44 between Marquette and Providence. Two of the top scorers here in the Big East we're watching from the same team.
Yeah, and it's interesting when you have a 1-2 punch like this, and you look at the other scorers there, Julian, but Book Night is something special, ladies and gentlemen. But look, this is special too. That looked like ballet dancer right there. Great footwork along the baseline. Watson getting it done.
15 points between Watson and Duke, all 15 points this half here for Providence. That's the second ballet reference. He said Fred Astaire in the first half. It's the second ballet reference you've made.
Yeah, I got to come up. Let me figure out some other people like Michael Jackson maybe, or Prince or somebody like that. Update my references.
Just keep your Google window open to like the 80s and the 90s, right? When you're listening to a Stephen Bardo game.
There you go.
Turnover on that possession.
I'll tell you what, Jimmy Nichols has played an outstanding defensive game overall, but in particular here in the second half. He has battled Dawson Garcia on the block. He's been active. He's used his length to cause deflections. He has really stepped up on the defensive end.
And Carton now back into this game, defending David Duke here for Marquette. A lower leg contusion is what we're told. John came over. Goaltending call.
And once again, Providence goes to that tight flex offense.
And they're calling a foul on Dexter Acano for Marquette.
Oh, but the Providence bench is going crazy. They thought it was a goaltend.
Yeah.
On Theo John.
Well, that's the third. If they keep it on Acano, that's the third. And so we have Greg Gant at the free throw line here for Providence. We'll take a look here. Gant was the one who took the shot.
You know what? That's pretty close. I mean, it's not as obvious as the Providence bench made it seem. Nice job of converting by Gant.
Elliott got bumped. Three-point game all of a sudden. Tight finish ahead coming in Milwaukee. You never know what story you're going to come across on the road. Providence traveling to Milwaukee, trailing by 3 with just about 12 minutes to play. Ed Cooley was watching the local news, our local Fox affiliate that told this story about Jacquees Carter. He's a 21-year-old, a shooting victim from October, left him paralyzed from the chest down. So he's been in the hospital since October. He's been ready to come home. He's recovered. But in order to do that, they need a wheelchair ramp. So his mom started a GoFundMe, and they shared the story on the Fox local affiliate. Ed Cooley was watching from his hotel room, and within 24 hours, they have been asking for $6,000. They had surpassed that by far, and the added money, Carter's mom has said, will benefit services to take care of Jacquees. But what a story that is, and what a gesture by Ed Cooley.
Yeah, a lot of times, Lisa, when you see these coaches come from challenging backgrounds like Ed Cooley in South Providence, he understands when people are in need, and he has more than enough to give, and he's more than willing to do so.
And he was interviewed for that local news story on the local Fox affiliate, and he said exactly that. You know, my upbringing and the resources that I have now, my heart calls out for stories like that, and he executed it.
Lisa, every time we see Coach Cooley, he says the same thing. I shouldn't be here. I'm so happy and fortunate to be in position to be Providence head coach. And he carries that spirit with him everywhere he goes.
Three-point game with under 12 minutes to play. Again, the largest lead had been 16 here for Marquette. They built it up in the first half. Duke and Watson have gone to work in the second half. Fighting for it. That one rimming out that time for Croswell.
Wow, Theo John, looks like he re-aggravated that knee injury. Have to keep an eye on him.
He's got that sleeve on his left knee. He's tweaked it a couple times this year.
Yeah, he's in a lot of pain. You see guys bend over and they're trying to breathe deeply and not trying to show any facial expression because they don't want to give their opponents any kind of indication that they're hurting. See him on the floor right there. And Providence yet again misses another bunny.
We mentioned that they missed 7 layups in the first half alone. Here's Garcia with the take. Body bucket and one for the freshman.
Well, that's a big-time move. Marquette needed a bucket in the worst way. Cleared out the side for him. Dawson puts it down, takes the hit, eyes on the rim. Nice finish. Well, he plays like he's been here before, Lisa. He's rarely out of control, just smooth.
He's just got that demeanor of a star.
Yes.
20 points is his career high. He's done it a couple of times. The last time against UConn on January 5th. He's sitting with 18 here tonight. Here's Reeves who gets a look. You can't leave that open. You can't leave him open.
Nice execution on the half-court set. I thought Duke may get his number called, but that's a down screen. And when you get your number called, you got to convert. Reeves does just that.
Shooting 38% coming into tonight in conference games alone. Reeves is 3 of 5 from back there tonight. And Carton with the hard take.
Nice execution by the Friars. Down screen. Slow to recover. And Reeves, just the look that Coach Ed Cooley dialed up.
A.J. Reeves hit some clutch shots. And you even go back to last year on this court against this team. Overtime game. Reeves hadn't played a whole lot in that game last year. And then Ed Cooley called his number, hit a 3 to send it to overtime, and then a couple of big buckets in the extra session to finish the job for Providence.
And so, young ladies and young gentlemen, young players, at this level, your number can be called at any time. There could be an injury, there's foul trouble, different matchup. You always have to be ready. Because when your number's called and you do well, you can get more playing time. If your number's called and you don't do well, you may not get off the bench.
There's the 1-2 punch. It's Duke feeding Watson.
Providence has really got some nice wrinkles where they cross screen action and bring Watson to the strong side. Nice execution.
Off the glass. Won't fall for Marquette. This is part of Marquette's problem. They've had 18-point advantages that they've lost to UConn. They've rallied from 18 down as well.
You know what that indicates to me, Lisa, is that they still don't know who they want to take the shot when they absolutely need it. I think this is the young man that needs to do this.
I'm with you. Here's McEwen. Kobe McEwen, a redshirt senior here on this roster for Marquette. Carton, a little one-on-one action. Oh, you beat the whole Providence defense.
Ooh, with some lingerie on the deck. Gant stood up and then left at the altar. T.J. Carton, now you see me, now you don't. Oh, my goodness. Got me excited, Lisa.
I see that, Steven. We got a good one all of a sudden. 9 seconds is due. Duke. The tip not there for Horkler. And the bump from Duke. be the first.
Watch all that he did in this move. Oh, you think I lost it? Nope, I'm going to stand you up. I'm get to the rim, off glass. Too fast, too quick. DJ Carton threw about 4 moves into that one. And Lisa, I love that story that you relayed about DJ coming to basketball camp here at Marquette. I know you've got some great memories of some of those basketball camps you went to as a kid. Those are so important, right?
The earliest impressions that you have of the sport.
That's it. I mean, I went to basketball camps a lot of different places. I was fortunate enough that my parents could afford to send me a lot of places, but the one place that stuck out was the one place I ended up playing, but that was the University of Illinois.
Is that right?
Yeah, loved it up there, and was camp MVP. There might have been something to that, but I can say that now, but I was appreciative.
You played defense back then, too?
Oh, yeah. If you saw my dad and you knew how hard he played, you had no choice but to play defense. Uh-oh, Woj hits the floor, slapping the floor. Let's see if his Golden Eagles respond defensively.
Well, trying to tee him up. They'll send Duke to the free throw line. Justin Lewis committing the foul. That's his second.
David Duke has the look of a pro, Lisa. And why do I say that? When these players start to move and they're being defended, DJ Carton is fast. But Duke got him on his hip and got all the way to the rim. He doesn't look like he's going fast, but he gets by his initial defender almost every time.
Well, this is what you think about the best players who have gone through Providence. You think Chris Dunn, right, as one of them. And Ed Cooley said he's a physical guard like Chris Dunn. He's not the alpha dog like Chris Dunn, but he's got some of those characteristics. High praise when you're talking about some of the best coming out of Providence's program.
That's a great call there. Oh, boy. Marquette bench not going to be happy with Roger Ayers making that call.
They call a timeout.
Yep.
For Providence, it's a 4-point game for Marquette.
I'm a little loss for words, Lisa, and I'm rarely at a loss for words. Michigan looks outstanding.
There's Jared Bynum, who continues to be out with the groin injury here for Providence. Now, Ed Cooley said that he was actually on the treadmill yesterday. His lateral movement is kind of keeping him out of maybe some practice time and some game time. What's significant about his loss, he's tough, he's experienced, he's a transfer from St. Joe's. When he handles the point guard spot, you see his assist to turnover ratio, too. He just doesn't turn it over. When he's in the game, that can push David Duke more off to the off-guard spot, and he can focus a little bit more on scoring, the ball handling.
I totally agree with that. And also, when you look at Jared Bynum and what he brings to Providence, those last 2 ball games would probably be in Providence's favor, because they had 2 critical turnovers at Xavier within the last minute of the game.
Yes, they did. And they had a traveling call right at the end. They gave the ball back to Xavier, and they ended up winning it after that possession. Oh, the 3-point shot is good for Noah Horkler, and that's his first points of the game.
And even though that's his first points, he's had some positive minutes for Providence.
Transfer out of North Florida, and it cuts the lead to 1. Came from the corner.
That's one of the hardest things to do out of a zone defense is the defensive rebound.
The tip is good for Kane.
Nice job by Marquette crashing the offensive glass. It's very difficult to guard a space, and then when the shot goes up, to go find the body. Good job by the Golden Eagles.
Can Horkler do it again?
Lisa, you're right. Without Bynum, Duke has to work overtime.
Oh, yeah, he did. But standing straight up that time was Justin Lewis, leading to the fast break. Carton checking his feet. Oh, the foul came out of nowhere.
might be the play of the game right there. That exchange. Duke going to the rim, gets hit. Providence thinks he needs to be on the free throw line, and Lewis with the tip dunk on the other end.
Runner into the lane. He's got a quick 5 points.
I'm telling you, Workler has had some positive minutes. He's had his length on the defensive end has been an issue for Golden Eagles, and now he's starting to put it together.
And Carton will go back to the free throw line.
This is what Justin Lewis needs to concentrate on, in my opinion. Crashing the glass, being a physical presence, and playing with that energy to get the Golden Eagles pumped up. You see Theo John loves it.
So does Greg Elliott. The building is still shaking.
That's a heck of a follow. And you know, in this season, you got to play with energy and effort. It's just you and your teammates out there, and you got to feel each other's presence. Well, Theo John is a man. He is really gutting it out because he's just not moving great on that knee, but you wouldn't know it on the court.
Well, he basically, even last year, he had to have surgery on his right wrist in May, and he played basically the whole season with a bad wrist even last year. Now he's trying to play the season with a bad left knee. That Marquette defense, another turnover.
Oh, you got to get it to him. DJ Carton. You got to get it to Garcia in that position.
Lewis is feeling good about himself. He's going to take it in. And Watson with the rejection. Reeves in the transition. Oh, popped out.
Well, there is something on these rims for Providence. They've had the most difficult time converting at the rim.
Lewis again for three. Justin Lewis feeling good the last couple of minutes.
Got the tip dunk, played good defense against Watson.
Reeves is slow to get up for Providence.
I think he's upset that he didn't get this call right here. He went down kind of hard and tried to get back up. And then you see Lewis step up big time. Justin Lewis bringing the energy and effort for the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, he's riding the momentum. Marquette is riding the Justin Lewis momentum. Under 5 to play. Nate Watson.
Nate Watson's got to get the rock more. I'm sorry. I understand they're trying to run certain plays and everything, but you're coming down the stretch. You're down 6 on the road. I got to get it to Watson.
And Cooley said he wants him to shoot 16 to 18 times in a game if he can. One and done that time for Marquette, and Reeves is still hurt, coming down with that rebound. They're having officials timeout.
Ray Natale did the right thing. Sees Reeves is really struggling. Take a little bit of time, get him out of the game.
How many guys have we seen get banged up in this game, leave the game, and then just begging the coach to get back in this game?
Yeah, that's the culture of the Big East Conference. You know, tough, an older league, and they understand how important these games are. You talked about it, Lisa. We're in COVID-19. You got to get every game you can.
Here's Nichols with the smooth 2. We saw Nate Watson leave early. He was the first to go. Theo John has been limping. David Duke slipped, got up. And the latest here with A.J. Reeves trying to shake it off. Carton with the no-look into the corner.
Does a good job of attacking the zone off the bounce.
The putback is good for Providence.
Well, the top player for Providence not having great success at the rim, but Gant bails him out.
Two-point edge here between Marquette and Providence. You go inside both of these huddles, and they're going to tell you, hey, we need a win, and we need to win really bad. They're sitting in the middle of the standings, both Providence and Marquette. That's what makes this game so important. That's what's going to make the last 3 minutes and some change a lot of fun to watch.
That's right. And, you know, you're starting to get into the teeth of conference play. You got to fight your way into the upper echelon of this conference. Not easy, but you got to do it. Both guys looking like they having quite a workout here this evening. Woe's getting a little bit deeper in his stance, but Ed Cooley in the first half showed he had more hops. So each one has an advantage. One on the defensive end, one on the offensive end. Let's see if their team will follow suit.
And at the free throw line is Greg Gantz. That's his first miss from there. Doesn't get a whole lot of trips to the free throw line. 12 total trips, or 12 total attempts from the free throw line this season.
For Marquette, I think Carton can get into the teeth of the defense and look opposite and get open look for his teammate.
The team will settle himself in those far corners there and try to get nice and comfy, cozy from three. There he is. Gets the pass and knocks it down. That's his shot.
Hey, great call there, point guard. I see you. Looking at the floor there. Nice call.
Once in a while.
Oh, please.
Once in a while.
That's awful.
5-point edge. It's the tight offense you've been talking about, but that time Providence tossed it away.
I have not seen so many poor post feeds from both sides. Not just Providence. I've seen that from both sides. Both of these teams are struggling to get the proper angle for a post feed. It's not difficult. I think Nichols just needs to take a strong bounce or two to his left. That angle's a lot easier, and then Watson can go to work.
Last time Providence led was 13-11 in the first half. Garcia drawing the foul, stopping the clock at 2:27.
Once again, Dawson Garcia, his feel is so impressive. We already know he can score in the other areas of the game that he can touch, but just his knowledge and feel. He knows when to blow and get to the rim, blow by his defender, get to the rim. He knows when to stop and pop and hit the mid-range game or shoot the three. Just a talented big.
It's a fourth on Nichols, too, by the way. Marquette is a team, 11 of 12 from the free throw line.
I mean, when you got a big man that shoots 76% from the free throw line, I mean, that's a luxury that not a lot of teams have.
40% from three, 47% from the field. Those are Dawson Garcia's numbers his freshman year. Oh, big move there defensively from John. Providence will keep it, 10 seconds on the shot clock.
This is where somehow Providence has to overcome the absence of Jared Bynum. We've talked about it a couple times. 10 seconds in the shot clock. Duke is going to be seeing a lot of help defenders in this sequence here.
And they lost a heartbreaker to Creighton, lost a heartbreaker to Xavier. End of game situations. Can Providence come through here? John coming over with the rejection.
That was on the glass before that shot was blocked.
And the bump foul there from Duke.
Let's take a look at this. Lisa, I think it hit the glass first. Duke gets to the rim. Yes.
Oh, you're right.
That's an easy goaltend.
And that is what Ed Cooley is saying on the other end.
And you remember now, there was one play, Lisa, early in the game, earlier in this half, Theo John got a block that Providence thought could have been a goaltend. So Theo John got the benefit of the doubt on that last one.
Big free throws. They continue to hit them as a team. Marquette on a 7-0 run. 14 of 15 now from the free throw line.
That's taking care of your business, and that's toughness. Hitting free throws down the stretch in critical times, that's a sign of toughness.
And that was Carton denying David Duke the basketball here. So now it'll be Allen Breed bringing it up. And the handoff to Duke. Out to Nichols for three. And Ed Cooley immediately calls the timeout.
Tell you, he's may have had the best overall game of Providence Friars tonight. Nichols playing well within himself. Nice kick out by Duke, drawing the defense. Nichols gets to line it up.
He's a perfect 3 for 3 from 3 in this game. Nichols just one double-figure scoring game against Seton Hall with the 10 points. He's got double figures here tonight with 11 points. Providence trying to close things out. They've had trouble with end-of-game situations as of late. I mentioned the heartbreakers they lost to Creighton, the heartbreaker they lost to Xavier. Here is the freshman Breed, who's called for the walking, the traveling call. And so it gave the ball back to Xavier. And guess what happened? Colby Jones hit the three to win it.
I mean, a great comeback by Xavier in that one. But you got to feel for the Friars, because they were up 7 inside of a minute in that game, and to lose that one. The Creighton one is tough, that's a tough loss at home, but that one at Xavier, I'm really impressed by the way the Friars have been able to pick themselves off the floor, Lisa.
Yeah, and Ed Cooley has said that's the first time in his career that he's had to try to rally his team from those kind of situations. Losing 2 games back-to-back in that kind of situation. He told us last night that the locker room after that Xavier loss was one of the toughest locker rooms that he's experienced.
Yeah, and so you know when young people are hurting, you don't always want to be coached. You just want to be somebody to love them up. And that's exactly what Cooley did. It's a good trap there along the baseline, forced a timeout for Marquette.
Got a couple of timeouts here, and over on the Marquette side, they're 6-6 coming into tonight, and some signature wins with those 6 wins. 2 of them, one here coming on the tip play right at the buzzer to beat number 4 Wisconsin. That was Justin Lewis, the hero on that play, and then going to Omaha and taking it to a ranked Creighton team.
I thought this was one of the more impressive victories on the road in the Big East so far this season. Unfortunately, though, Marquette kind of struggling with their consistency since.
Yeah, and they've been battle-tested. Both of these teams are used to close games. 6 games on the Providence side decided by 6 points or fewer. 5 games on the Marquette side decided by 7 points or fewer. We got another one for both of these teams here tonight. And Gant following Kane.
And Gant looked like he was just trying to get back in position defensively, but Kane did a good job of throwing his body in the path and collects the contact.
That's the 3rd on Gant.
Third personal.
And just some bookkeeping, too. An earlier foul got changed from Nichols to Watson. So Nichols has 3 fouls, not 4.
Those are the plays that will drive you crazy as a coach. You get 2 missed free throws, and then give up an and 1 opportunity.
A killer! The Carton killer!
burst, Lisa, is as good as any guard in this conference. When he starts going left, I mean, David Duke is a physical defender, but he cannot keep up with the foot speed of Carton.
I'm going to steal your line, Stephen Bardo. Ladies and gentlemen who are watching, if you want to learn how to do the Euro step, watch DJ Carton do the Euro step.
That's right.
You watched him do that about 3 times tonight.
Yeah, he's really good at it.
Ooh, a hard-earned 2 points off the glass for Duke.
Boy, Duke gets those angles, doesn't he? I mean, that was really difficult. You don't need a foul here if you're Providence.
Under a minute to play.
Now you need a foul. You want to give your team a chance to come up with a steal in the backcourt. Once the ball gets over half court, then you have to foul.
Reeves picks up his first.
David Duke, boy, he has been battling. He and McEwen, great battle, but look at that angle. Gets it to drop. Talented score.
We might have a clock review here with our officials. Roger Ayers and Ray Natili. The game clock was still running after the made basket.
Ed Cooley trying to get an impromptu timeout, but they look like they're going to try to rush him out of there a little bit. Ed Cooley looking back at his staff for some answers. Guess he didn't like what he heard from the officials.
And so the clock issue was after the latest David Duke acrobatic finish there. It should have stopped on the inbound, but you see the game clock keeps rolling.
Yep. And so the officials noticed it and got on top of it right away.
Tip out, heads up play from Garcia. You know, that's going to look like a rebound in the stat sheet, but that might have just won Marquette the basketball game, or at least sealed it.
I agree, Lisa. When you cannot secure your defensive rebound, you can't win games in this conference. And I love the emotion. Look at him. Get fired up, big fella. You know how important that play was. You know, I understand that a lot of these players watch NBA players, Lisa, and they want to mimic what NBA players do. And the guys at that level, they play so many games that a lot of times they're emotionless. You know, they don't show a lot of emotion. This is college basketball. You do something good, smile.
I love that.
Fist. Yeah, I love it too.
About a 10-second differential between game and shot clock. Deep 3 attempt from Reeves. Shooting about 50% from back there for the game. And Marquette continuing to ice this away at the free throw line. Nichols now has picked up his 4th. Upcoming schedule for Steve Wojciechowski and the Golden Eagles. Again, they get Providence again back on January 27th.
And so the grouping of games that are coming up for Marquette, a lot of those teams are fighting to stay or get into the middle of the pack. Whereas if Marquette can hold on today, they find themselves right in the middle of the pack, and they can really make some hay in this conference in the next 5 games.
And we've learned something. We knew that we would learn something about one of these two teams. You know, Providence trying to bounce back from the heartbreaking losses. Marquette trying to find itself a little bit too. Remember, they had a 16-point advantage. And this is a Golden Eagle team that I said had rallied from 18 points down against Georgetown. Also gave up an 18-point lead against UConn. So you're thinking, what kind of Marquette team do we have here? Well, they responded to the punches and the counter punches that they've received from Providence here tonight.
And we talked about it. Providence, one of the more physical teams in the Big East, and the Golden Eagles not only matched the physicality, they exceeded. Well, it's a big-time victory for the Golden Eagles. It didn't look good there for a while when Providence was making their run. But the 50-50 balls in the second half, Marquette dominated in that category.
20 points for Garcia. He ties a career high tonight. And 4 in double figures, 5 in double figures for Marquette. A much-needed win. They get above 500 at 7-6 overall. Our final score, 79-69. Coming up on FS1, it's NFL Films Presents. For Stephen Bardo and our entire crew, I'm Lisa Byington. Thanks for watching, and good night from Milwaukee.